If you ever miss a call in the middle of the night, don't assume it was nothing.
I ignored one call at exactly 2:47 a.m. and years later, something called back. Not to talk, but to find me. The first night it happened, I thought I was just tired. I worked the night shift at a roadside call center that handles emergency roadside assistance. Flat tires, dead batteries, cars stranded in the middle of nowhere. The kind of place where most calls come in half asleep, slurred and panicked. By 2:47 a.m., my brain usually runs on muscle memory. That night, the phone rang exactly at 2:47.
I answered the way I always did. Thank you for calling roadside assistance. What's your emergency?
There was breathing on the other end.
Slow, careful, like someone was making sure I stayed on the line.
Hello, I said again.
The breathing stopped. Then a voice said, "You already know why I'm calling." My fingers froze over the keyboard. "I'm sorry," I said. "Can you tell me your location?" Silence. Then the voice laughed, quietly, not mocking, almost relieved. "You can see me," the voice said.
You've been seeing me all night. I felt a chill crawl up my spine. Sir, I said, forcing calm, if this is a prank. You looked at me at 1:12. The voice interrupted. And again at 2:03. You frowned both times. My stomach dropped. I had frowned at 2:03 because one of the security monitors in the office hallway had flickered. Just for a second, like someone had walked past the camera too close. That's not possible, I said. The voice lowered. Check your camera again. Against every instinct I had, I turned my head toward the monitor. The hallway was empty, except for the far end. Something stood there, tall, too thin. Its head tilted sideways, like it was studying the camera rather than being caught by it. The phone crackled. I don't like cameras, the voice said. They make me feel seen. I slammed the mouse and closed the camera feed. My heart was hammering. This line is recorded, I said. If you're threatening, I'm not threatening you. The voice replied. I'm asking for help. I swallowed. What kind of help? I'm stuck, it said. And every time I move, I get closer to you. I hung up. I didn't even log the call. I just sat there, listening to my own breathing, convincing myself it was stress, night shift paranoia, burnout. My eyes drifted back to the monitor. The hallway was empty. At 3:11 a.m., the phone rang again. I didn't answer. It rang until voicemail picked up. A moment later, my computer chimed. New voicemail received. I don't know why I listened. The audio crackled. Then the same voice spoke softly. You shouldn't hang up on people who are lost. Something scraped in the hallway. Slow, deliberate, like fingernails dragging across the wall. I stood up so fast my chair fell backward. Security, I shouted. No answer. The scraping stopped right outside the door to my office. Then the handle turned. Once, twice. It stopped. The phone rang again. With shaking hands, I answered. Please, I whispered. Just tell me what you want. The voice sounded closer now. Clearer, like the distance between us had shrunk. I want you to remember, it said. Remember what? The night you heard me for the first time. My screen flickered. The date in the corner changed. March 14, 2012. My breath caught. That was impossible. That was the night my younger brother disappeared. If this story is already getting under your skin, make sure you're subscribed, because this only gets worse from here. I called for help that night, the voice said. Do you remember? My head spun. No, I said. That's not true. You were asleep, it replied calmly. Your phone was face down. You didn't hear it vibrate. The scraping started again, closer. He was scared, the voice continued. His car broke down. Same road, same service, same voice. My ears rang. You're lying. I waited, it said, on the side of the road. And something answered me before you did.
The office door creaked inward, just an inch. I've been walking toward your voice ever since. I ran. I didn't grab my bag. I didn't clock out. I sprinted down the emergency stairs, burst into the parking lot, and didn't stop until I reached my car. I drove straight home, didn't sleep, didn't turn on the lights. At sunrise, I convinced myself it was a hallucination. Trauma resurfacing, guilt playing tricks on my mind, until my phone rang. Unknown number. I let it ring. A voicemail appeared seconds later. The transcription popped up automatically. I'm outside. I stared at the front door. Then my security camera app opened on its own. The feed showed my porch, empty. Then the audio activated, breathing, right behind the camera. That night, I went to the police. They checked the call logs. There was a record from 2012, a roadside assistance call placed at 2:47 a.m. Caller name, my brother. Status, unanswered. And underneath it, a note added at 3:11 a.m. Caller no longer requires assistance. I quit my job that day. Moved cities. Changed numbers. But sometimes at exactly 2:47 a.m. my phone lights up without ringing, and the voicemail appears. I never listen anymore, because the last time I did, the message wasn't a voice. It was mine, whispering, I can see you. If you listened all the way to the end, you're one of the few who didn't look away. Subscribe for true horror stories that stay with you long after the video ends. And if you've ever experienced something you still can't explain, share it in the comments. I read everyone.